Good evening and welcome to Rewind. It's Tuesday, February 8th, and we want to get you caught up on the biggest stories of the day so far.
We begin this evening with a United States postal worker robbed on the job in Gwinnett County. His master mail key among the items taken, which can be used to unlock thousands of mailboxes and outdoor drop boxes across the metro. Our Jamie Kennedy has the very latest on this crime that's left thousands vulnerable.
And Atlanta's Spelman College shuts down again this morning, hit with a bomb threat for the third time this year. Our Zach Summers has an update. A United States postal worker robbed on the job in Gwinnett County.
The mail carrier targeted by three suspects wearing ski masks. His master mail key among the belongings taken. The key can be used to unlock thousands of mailboxes and outdoor drop boxes across the metro.
CBS 46's Jamie Kennedy live in Duluth with the crime that's leaving thousands vulnerable now to mail theft. Jamie.
Yeah, exactly right, Rick. That postal master key is usually in a secure location inside the post office and only used by authorised personnel. Now that the thieves have that key, the next time you use a public mailbox, you may want to think twice.
It's scary. I hope they catch the guy. That's outrageous.
People at an apartment complex say they have been in disbelief after being warned by police and officials that thieves on February 1st robbed a postal worker at gunpoint and stole his postal master key, otherwise known as an arrow key.
It's very scary because, you know, a lot of people, like, especially with people working from home, so they get lots of important documents come directly to home. They don't go to the office. Me and my wife, we both work from home too, so like we have lots of documents, you know, and we also have our own business, so all our mail comes here.
Police say thieves stole only 3 items from the mail carrier, his laptop, USPS barcode scanner and master key, and didn't touch any of the mail or packages. The master key, according to USPS, can access collection boxes, outdoor parcel lockers, cluster box units and apartment panels. It's not just Atlanta. A number of cities around the country are reporting thieves gaining access to mailboxes and stealing and washing checks and gift cards.
It looks like they know what they're doing and, you know, they have a goal in mind, so, you know, it's very scary.
The apartment complex advised people to temporarily hold their mail or even send it to another address. Duluth police say be aware of the crime if you live in zip codes 30096 and 30097. Your mail may be at risk. A possible fix for now?
Either outside of the zip code or inside the actual post office.
Now, a worker at the apartment complex tells me that police told her that they believe the car that the thieves used may have been used in other robberies. USPS also says try and pick up your mail promptly and don't leave any packages overnight to encourage thieves to come back. And also, if you see something, please say something to authorities. Live in Duluth, Jamie Kennedy, CBS 46 News.
Developing tonight, an Atlanta historically black college on high alert. Another bomb threat at Spelman. The third this year. It happened just hours before HBCU presidents addressed a string of threats nationwide. CBS 46's Zach Summers is live at Spelman tonight with the story that's putting thousands of students tonight on edge. Zach.
Yeah, Sean, these bomb threats at historically black colleges and universities are being labeled as racist attacks that some say are meant to send a message that learning while black is not safe. For the second time in a week,
it's really disheartening.
Spelman College forced to go on lockdown after the historically black college received yet another bomb threat.
We here to learn and people is just trying to like mess that up.
Tuesday's threat came in just before 10 a.m. Students and faculty were told to shelter in place as Atlanta police conducted a sweep of the campus.
Just getting that text is like, wow. Like, I can't just live like anybody else. I can't just go to class and get educated like anybody else. It comes with so much more.
The threat at Spelman came as the Southern Poverty Law Center hosted a roundtable with HBCU presidents to discuss a series of bomb threats at black institutions since the start of Black History Month.
These threats are reminiscent of the civil rights era. Bomb threats against black people is an unfortunate part of America's history.
The FBI has identified at least 6 minors as persons of interest in the threats, saying last week the incidents appear to be racially motivated.
These acts of intimidation and threats of violence have absolutely no place in our society and will not be tolerated.
For Burnett,
please keep your head up.
the Spelman freshman refuses to let potential extremists win.
We have a saying, undaunted by the fight. And, for us, that just means, we're not going to let this stop us from being educated.
Now, Dr. Cooper with the U.S. Department of Education says they are working on a plan to address the impacts that these threats are having on students' mental health. She also says they are working to identify better safety measures that HBCUs can implement to try to prevent this from happening even further. As for the bomb threat here at Spelman, they were given the all clear around 1 o'clock today. However, the campus remains closed to visitors. We're live in Atlanta. Zach Summers, CBS 46 News.
New details tonight. A man accused of shooting a veteran Atlanta police officer is denied bond. Christian Eppinger faced a judge today. Eppinger is accused of shooting Officer David Rogers multiple times on Monday at an apartment in southwest Atlanta. We're told that Rogers was serving a warrant on Eppinger for his alleged involvement in an armed robbery last October.
And as the officer attempted to tase Mr. Eppinger pulled out a weapon and discharged his weapon at Officer Rogers, striking Officer Rogers 6 times, including 4 hits to the right shoulder, 1 hit to his right knee, and 1 hit to the back of his head.
Officer Rogers is an 11-year veteran of the force. He is still in the hospital with serious injuries. Police say the suspect accused of shooting Officer Rogers is a known gang member.
It is a problem across the metro, and prosecutors are joining other lawmakers to tackle the issue through new legislation. State Capitol reporter Haley Mason joins us live tonight outside of a hearing where the Fulton County DA just spoke out to help push a bill ahead. Haley.
Sean, Fulton County DA Fani Willis just came inside the Senate hearing room to say, politics aside, gangs impact everyone. She said she is glad to support this Republican-led bill to allow counties to more seriously prosecute gang members, even for crimes committed in other counties.
I'm fully supporting this.
This afternoon, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis speaking to the State Senate Judiciary Committee, giving a big nod to a bill that would strengthen prosecution of street gangs. It's called the Safe and Secure Georgia Act, sponsored by Republican Senator John Albers from Roswell.
I think it's extremely important, not just for the urban district attorneys who are in more populated communities, but for all of the district attorneys.
The bill brings down a heavy hand for gang members and could hold individual gang members responsible for gang crimes committed in other counties.
It's not just that you are in a gang, it's that you're in a gang and you do an act in furtherance of the gang.
Supporters of the bill argue that by joining a gang, courts can consider the individual member has agreed to be a part of the larger gang conspiracy to commit other crimes in other counties. So that member could be held responsible for other crimes the gang committed in other locations.
A gang by its nature is kind of a special kind of criminal conspiracy. If a person joins a conspiracy, they are subject to being tried any place where any member of that conspiracy commits an act in furtherance of it.
Earlier today, Georgia Attorney General Chris Carr announced his support of House Bill 1134. It would allow his office the jurisdiction to investigate and prosecute criminal gang activity all across the state.
This would assist crimes against children, elder abuse.
As for this Senate bill, it would direct courts to also enforce minimum prison sentences for convicted felons with firearms. It will also prohibit sentencing courts from suspending or deferring a sentence for violent domestic offenders or felons with guns. It's all a part of the statewide push to crack down on the criminal networks. And tomorrow, Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp will be attending a meeting of the Georgia Anti-Gang Network, where they'll be discussing new efforts to push ahead efforts to crack down on street gangs all across the state. Also going to be mentioning some of that additional funding that the governor is throwing toward this effort as he looks to reduce street gang crime. We'll bring you more on that tomorrow morning. Reporting live inside the Senate office building, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.
Millions of dollars worth of counterfeit goods seized. A months-long investigation resulted in luxury knockoffs and 2 arrests. CBS 46's Yasmina Alston explains why these counterfeit goods have criminal ties.
was an investigation or a tip that was given to us, and we looked into it.
That investigation led to the discovery of over $16 million of counterfeit luxury items. These pictures showing some of the 9,000 plus designer bags and jewelry, all fake. Gwinnett County Police say the items were being sold online out of Lawrenceville. 31-year-old Jessica Lama and 33-year-old Melvin Renee Jacinto Cortez kept all of the merchandise in a storage space on Maltby Street. The two are now charged with possession and sale of goods bearing a counterfeit trademark.
And a lot of times these counterfeit items or illegal activities are linked to other illegal activities such as human trafficking or drugs.
The concerns over counterfeit items aren't just in Gwinnett County. Last August, federal, state, and local agencies executed a search warrant of counterfeit items at Westgate Discount Mall in Atlanta. There were enough boxes of items to fill a couple of 18-wheelers.
Selling counterfeit goods is illegal. And, some people look at, a fake handbag as a victimless crime, but it really isn't.
Graham Wetzbarger is the CEO of Luxury Appraisals and Authentication and says the illegal sale of fake items is a bigger problem than most know.
The same people that import these goods, smuggle these goods into the country are also smuggling other things such as drugs, weapons, and even people.
And to report any suspected counterfeit items, you should contact Customs and Border Protection. In Gwinnett County, Yasmina Alston, CBS 46 News.
Now at 5, a crime alert in Atlanta where surveillance video shows crooks running from a burglarized business right here. CBS 46's Trayson Bragg spent his day at Revolution Donuts on Edgewood where workers were busy cleaning up broken glass.
This morning began like every other for Brett Mosley and his granddaughter. I caught them during their favorite morning stop, Revolution Donuts and Coffee.
My granddaughter comes here every morning, bro, and she gets a cinnamon donut, and I get a small coffee every morning.
But this morning, the small business he loves...
It is popular amongst the kids that go to Howard, popular amongst the people that live in the neighborhood.
...looks a bit different. The owner of the popular donut shop tells us last night a masked thief burglarized her business. Take a look at this surveillance video. You see a car pull up. Seconds later, a man hops out, casually turns his back to the glass door on the side of the business, then kicks it in.
Somebody breaking in here is absolutely ridiculous, man. Wow. It makes no. I don't even understand what are you gonna steal, flour?
The video shows once inside, the crook makes a mad dash for the counter, hops over it, then gets right to stealing several tablets. The owner says he even tried to take the store's cash box, but was unsuccessful. But get this, even if he would have gotten it out of the business, he still would have walked away with $0.
You are one dumb criminal to break in a coffee shop that only takes cards. There's a sign on the door. No cash, card only. So for you to break in here and think that you would get cash, you're a pretty stupid criminal.
That's right. The owner decided to stop taking cash after the last time the business was burglarized. In case you're wondering, this is the second time in 6 months and the third time in a year a bandit has bashed their way into Revolution Donuts and Coffee.
Now we're just trying to clean up, and it's a painful loss to have our electronic equipment stolen. It's very expensive to fix a glass door, and now we have to just think a little bit more about our security.
This is that glass door that the crook broke through on his way into the business. You can see there's actually a wooden board covering it now, and you heard the owner say it's going to be expensive to replace it. But the good news is no employees were here during the burglary, so no one was injured or threatened last night. If you know who this burglar is, you're asked to call APD immediately. Reporting in Atlanta, I'm Trayson Bragg, CBS 46 News.
Video from Chopper 46 showing the damage left behind at a Gwinnett County apartment after a fire. 5 families now without their homes in Lawrenceville.
It happened this morning at the Water Vista apartment. CBS 46's Mary Smith spoke with residents about what happened.
We spoke with a mother who says she was not alerted this morning by smoke alarms, but by someone banging on her door so she and her 2 young kids could get out safely.
I didn't hear any alarm. I just know they came and banged on the door. And I opened the door and I'm like, what's going on?
Shakovia Hodnett says she's incredibly thankful that she and her children made it out of their apartment safely.
I have a 5- and a 6-year-old. I'm just glad we got out.
Gwinnett Fire and Emergency Services says because the fire was just in the attic, smoke alarms in the apartments did not go off. It all started when someone turned on a furnace.
There was a contract worker crew that was in one of the vacant apartments doing work. They turned on the heat to try to get warm up the apartment while they worked. Noticed smoke coming out of the vents, got out, escaped the apartment, notified the surrounding apartments. Everybody got out safely.
While no one was injured and the building wasn't destroyed, because of water damage and the electricity being turned off, 5 families were forced to leave their homes.
And we just had to leave out and just been waiting here. And they just told us we got to find somewhere to go because it's water damage and smoke damage. I've never had this happen to me before.
We've reached out to Complex Management for comment. We're waiting to hear back. The Red Cross is assisting the victims. In Lawrenceville, Mary Smith, CBS 46 News.
All this month, we are celebrating Black history. African Americans have played a pivotal role in helping shape Metro Atlanta. When you think of all the historical locations across the area, you probably don't think of Southview Cemetery. But this one, trust me, was eye-opening.
Martin Luther King was buried here in 1968, and he was moved to the King Center in 1970.
Better than a history book, Southview Cemetery contains a who's who of Black history and culture in Atlanta. Dr. King's family rests in peace here. More recently, civil rights icon Congressman John Lewis was buried in Southview, and legendary baseball great Hank Aaron is buried here as well.
They would leave bats and balls and just come to honor him and pay respects.
Winifred Watts Hemphill continues the family business of running the cemetery, first started in 1886 by 6 Black Atlanta businessmen.
One of them was my great-grandfather, Albert Watts. He was born in Athens as a slave, and after emancipation matriculated to Atlanta and lived in Atlanta and ran a grocery store.
The men wanted a dignified place where blacks could be buried. More than a century later, 80,000 rest here. This marble marker is one of the most visited, the headstone for George Union Wilder.
And it has his dates in here. Very difficult to see because it was hand-etched. It also says that he was murdered during the race riots of 1906.
Also in Southview's historic district, former slave and Atlanta entrepreneur Alonzo Herndon and his family.
Alonzo Herndon was the first Black millionaire in Atlanta. He owned the Crystal Palace barbershop as well as several others, and the Crystal Palace catered to white men, shaves, baths, haircuts.
You may not recognize the guest name as much as one of the men behind the music of Gladys Knight and the Pips.
William Guest is here and his whole family, and he was a Pip, and his sister was actually one of the original Pips.
And few know that filmmaker Spike Lee has a direct connection to Southview.
He comes and visits frequently when he's in Atlanta. Spike Lee's grandmother is really one of the main reasons that he came and went to Morehouse.
And that Spike Lee connection was one that actually surprised me, and there are so many others as well. Southview will have a special tour and performance. This one is coming up on March 26th. Actors will portray notable Atlantans. It's one you don't want to miss. We did add information for that on our website at cbs46.com. But you can actually take a tour of Southview any day of the week. Tracy Hutchins, CBS 46 News.
Thanks for watching CBS 46 News. Watch us live wherever you are, our mobile and our streaming news app. You can also watch us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.